What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. And this podcast is available at allthingscomedy.com. You can watch it on YouTube. Just type in Ian Edwards or Ian Soccer Comic Rant Edwards. It's also available on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn. And I guess we'll get into the sponsor. Sponsor for the podcast is onthevolleyapparel.com, and if you go to onthevolleyapparel.com, you will see hoodies, t-shirts, tanks, sweatshirts, everything. And look at that plethora of stuff you can get with a combination of soccer and hip-hop logos on the front. Got some great designs. You go there, use my promo code Comic Rant, get 20% off, and I wear some of that stuff. And go there on thevolleyapparel.com, do your orders for Black Friday, for Christmas, for all that. Get yourself some stuff, and they also will outfit your local soccer team. So go to onthevolleyapparel.com, promo code Comic Rant, get your 20% off. All right. And our guest today is Martin.
Hey.
What up, Martin? Journalist, comic, actor, writer for 442 magazine.
Yes, sir.
And the producer is Aaron Brungard. What up, Aaron?
What's
Hey,
up,
Aaron.
guys? It might shock you guys, but I've watched no soccer this week.
You didn't watch damn, that's so rare that you didn't. There is something that I did want to bring up, though, for as far as you're concerned. Like, I feel like this year, it's almost at the end of the year, and this year has been the year of the culmination of a lot of great shows or things that you'd be into, shows and movies or series. So there was the end of Game of Thrones, right? And you were into that, right?
Yep.
And it's also was the end of basically the Marvel, what would they call that?
They called it like phase 2 or something like that.
Phase 2?
Yeah.
Does that mean there's going to be a phase 3?
Yeah.
Right. Do you think it'll be as great as the 2?
I think the Spider-Man movie was the first part of phase 3.
Oh, okay. And
I don't know. I've at a certain point, I'm kind of tired of superheroes.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. But we'll see.
Scorsese just said that something about Marvel films, and that he doesn't really consider them.
He doesn't respect them as movies.
Yeah.
I think he's wrong.
Yeah, I think he's wrong.
Yeah.
Because I cried at Endgame.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, see it and you'll know why.
Yeah, it's great movie making.
Yeah.
And I think when you take a Marvel topic that somebody like Scorsese doesn't consider a movie and make a movie out of it, then that's movie making.
I think he's right and wrong. I'm like a little bit biased here because I'm a big fan of his work, and I think I understand what he tries to say. I think he's worried that the auteur type of cinema, auteur type of movies are becoming more and more rare, and the studios, because of the financial problems, that a lot of movies just don't make money anymore.
It doesn't mean
people
it's not a movie.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that kind of the market in a way dictates the economy of movie making right now. So the studios want to make. Yeah, but this is more challenging now because of streaming and stuff. So it's much easier to lose money on movies than it was ever before because of so much competition with streaming services and all those platforms, and TV shows are on whole another level right now. So I think that he's worried that the auteur type of movie making will go away, and instead, people will do another 10 shows from Netflix or Apple Plus or whatever. And studios, to counter that, they want sure hits. They don't want to take risks on filmmaking.
It's been
anymore.
like that for a minute.
Yeah, but that's why I think why he said what he said. So he's right and wrong because those movies, some of them are very good movies, and but at the same time, as you get older, sometimes I do the same thing. When I think, there's no good music anymore. The music was great in the 80s, in the 90s, because I'm getting older. That's my sentiment. For him, is the sentiment. That's the type of movies that he likes.
The type of movie, you can't make all mob movies. And mob movies are basically Italian superheroes, or in this case, the Irish superheroes of those days. You know what I mean? Like the people that are larger than life that everybody looks up to with just guns and doing stuff on the black market. And I like his movies too. So, but the thing that I was going to get to is like now it's about to be the end of another Star Wars.
Yeah.
And that's like, so it's like 3 great things that are going to end this year. And I never thought or had it in my plan that was going to happen in 2019. Are you going to go see Star Wars on the 20th?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And what do you think of like this last 2 movies coming into this third one so far?
I mean, I liked them. I know a lot of people didn't like The Last Jedi, but I really enjoyed it. And I thought,
that was the last one?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah. What a lot of people didn't like is like, oh, it did this and then it didn't do this. And it's like, well, it surprised you.
Right.
Isn't that what we're all hoping for in a movie? Like,
yeah,
because that's all they complained about with Force Awakens. It's like, oh, it's just the same movie over. It's like, well, this one wasn't.
Yeah, I like that last one. The twist at the end when and that them communicating with each other, and almost the point where they're gonna get together and combine forces, and they did, and then they're separate. I just thought that shit was dope.
Yeah, and I also like a filmmaker that has the integrity or what have you, the balls to just be like, oh, you spent 3 years trying to figure out who Emperor Snoke is? Well, he's dead. No one cares.
Hilarious.
Listen, guys. I think they're gonna keep milking it. I don't think it's gonna be the end. I think they're gonna find it.
No, we know. Yeah. It's just like this is just the end of that. I mean, they're probably gonna make another Game of Thrones. What they call?
Oh, they're already doing it.
Yeah, so
it's already in plans. I just saw a post like a couple of days ago. There will be like a prequel sort of thing going on, and they just hired different writers. I think the original writers of Game of Thrones, they had a deal, and then the deal didn't go through, and they hired some other people to do that.
Speaking of prequels, so Spurs, like hired, they basically got rid of the guy who was in charge of the franchise, and they got a guy who's got more titles than
titles, simple and not more.
But he has more.
He does have them.
He has more titles than Spurs has.
Yeah.
He has won more trophies than Spurs has. But before we talk about, I want you to slow down a little bit because I want to know something.
Yeah.
So before you heard Mourino was going to be the coach, first they fired Pochettino, right? So when you heard they fired Pochettino, without thinking into the future of what you know now, what did you think?
You know what?
How did you feel?
I have to say that because that's the truth. You know, the both news came at me came at the same time.
Both news?
Yeah, I mean, when they fired him, it was already, you know, like what do you do? Okay, they fired Pochettino. The second note in the same story that I saw was most likely Mourino will be the next guy.
First time you heard about it?
Yes.
Okay.
So it kind of already planted the seed once I heard about it. So I never had a chance to reflect on Pochettino being just fired.
Right.
So I never had to think like who's going to be the next manager because I'm like, oh, makes sense. So But
did you, like, just like when you think you're going to get a player that you really want, did you think, did you think, I hope this works out? Was there a moment of that?
No, I was pretty sure that it actually will work out, and I think it will. And the question is,
not
for how long?
Not work out as far as, like, down the road. Like, that work out as far as they were going to actually, like, sign and deliver Mourino as a coach.
I was pretty sure. Because I felt like the only... No, I didn't have any question marks. It made perfect sense. He desperately needed a chance. This is and Spurs desperately need a title. So it's like a
marriage made in hell.
In heaven, in a way. We'll see. It could be
a marriage made in purgatory.
Yeah. In a way it does. Purgatory. That's a really good.
Your both teams are in the waiting room. Spurs is in the waiting room for a title.
Yeah, we needed each other.
in the waiting room to prove that Manchester United fired him unjustly, and he wants to repair the way the world last saw him, the way the soccer world last saw him. And so, I think it's the best case scenario when you're going to fire somebody who's done as much for your team as Pochettino. Like they had to, you can't just fire him. You have to make a move that everybody will be like, okay, this is worth doing this drastic thing. And so the hiring of Mourino definitely does that. And he has a really strong team to do his bidding. Like, that's a really good team that was underperforming. So
I think listen, I think he was auditioning for the job in the recent months, as horrible as it sounds. And I've been on that side of things.
What side?
Working for a TV network in the past in Europe, where players or coaches, mainly coaches, out of job at the moment, were pundits for a little bit before the next job comes around. And a lot of them came with the mindset, this is my opportunity to make a pitch for myself as a manager.
Right.
So Mourino was... I listened to every studio because it was also available in the form of a podcast on Spotify, on Sky Sports. He was very insightful about Spurs for a while. Like, he was saying a lot of stuff that made sense tactically.
Like what I say on a regular basis about Spurs.
But like in details,
I've never been wrong about Spurs.
We've all been wrong.
I've never been wrong about Spurs.
In what way?
All right. I remember when you first started doing the podcast.
Yeah, 2014. Yeah.
Right. You were in doubts about Spurs, and I said, no, it's a good team. And I had to. At the time, you remember that, but I saw it before you saw it. Then
yes,
Son,
you did, actually.
Son. I said, that's a good player. He's like, no, he's inconsistent. Da, 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 da. But look at Son now. Like, okay. I saw that, and then I said, you're not going to win no titles.
It's funny, because you were right about Spurs, I was right about United, so we kind of complement each other.
But I've always been right about United too. Like, for the most part.
No, you hated Mourino signing, and he actually won trophies. I think he actually did a good job overall.
Yeah, but he wasn't the right coach. Like,
we'll get there.
He took us in a direction where, and you know, he turned the team on him and brought us to a dark phase where we had to hire Solskjaer.
That's what he does. Yeah. That's what he does. He turns eventually.
Builds, I never wanted Mourino.
No, that's what I'm saying.
And
you never wanted him.
So nobody considers his reign a success.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
but since Ferguson, that was the only time United was winning anything.
Well, Van Gaal won a FA Cup.
But
you still won. Those are trophies. Spurs will be happy with those trophies. Any three of the trophies that we won, Spurs would be happy with. Any team would be happy.
Yeah, but Mourino won more, and actually he finished second once, and Van Gaal finished only fourth, I believe.
Yeah, but
the highest.
But he won a FA Cup. Like, you can't just, like, all of a sudden, based on a person, like, be like, that trophy is not worth that anymore. You know what I mean? Because all the teams are trying to win those trophies, and you still have to beat them.
Still, arguably, on paper, with results, he was the most successful manager since Ferguson you had until now.
But me or you could have been that.
I don't know, because like we'll get to United. Let's talk about Spurs. So here's the thing.
I know we are talking about Spurs.
Yeah.
But you can't talk about Spurs without talking about Manchester United.
Yeah, but here's what I'm trying to say. So in my opinion, Mourino was preparing the ground for this hiring, and I think they went through with firing of Pochettino because they already had Mourino lined up,
right?
And they were already talking for a little bit. They had to. So Tottenham was one of the worst teams point-wise in the last 12 months in the Premier League. Pochettino, as a young manager, came with a lot of ideas. He had a certain way of playing, but he didn't have plan B. Tactically, I think he got exposed. The opponents figured him out, and he didn't know how to respond to that. And that's why they were dropping so many points with having really good team, having on paper really good team. Of course, some players did take a step back, including Dele Alli.
Huge.
Eriksen is disengaged for a little bit. I would say defensively, we started leaking a lot of goals and not playing well as
did you hear the reason why Mourino didn't start Eriksen? Because he said he just doesn't know where he's at.
Yeah,
head-wise.
Well, you can see that. Yeah, I don't have to be in the locker room to see that. He just seems disengaged. for a while.
But it's funny to blame it on him when there's a lot of other people.
Yeah, no, I don't blame it just on him, but you can tell, the body language says that all for a while. It's not like blame. It's sometimes you just need to let the guy go. It's just the way it is. It's just burned out. And I don't think he fits Mourinho's system at all. As a matter of fact, Eric Dyer, whom he brought back for this first game, he was the guy who he tried to sign for United in the past. I mean, he always liked Eric Dyer as a player. His versatility.
Who do you prefer, Dyer or Sissoko?
Dyer.
Sissoko gives you way more than Dyer.
No, because Dyer can score. He scored in the past a lot when he was given chances, and he is more versatile overall.
Nah,
because he can play in defense. He can switch.
When Dyer was there, when Dyer started, you never made it to the Champions League final.
Yeah, but we finished second with him on being a starter in the Premier League.
Yeah, but it's like,
and he scores goals.
Would you win?
And you can change the formation without changing the player. If you need to go more defensively, you just put him in the as a third center back anytime. And he knows how to play center back. So his versatility is very important.
I think he's a solid player, but I think the word you're saying, versatility, is what he lacks. I think Sissoko has that.
You can't put him on defense.
Who's Sissoko?
No.
He's a great.
He started as a right back once. It was a disaster.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be a right back. He should be right there, central midfielder. And he can dribble a ball out. He
never scores. He's a terrible finisher.
He's involved in starting the process of the rest of the team scoring a goal.
I mean, yeah, he's got assets, he's got some assets, but he doesn't score. He's not big enough to be a threat in set pieces like Dyer is. I think Dyer scored over 10 goals for Tottenham in the last 4 years.
Yeah, in the last 4 years, Sissoko just started like last year.
But he just doesn't score at all. Yeah, he never scores.
But it's not about goals. It's like Winks scored once or twice, you know what I mean?
So it's good it's a good partnership, I think. It's just the way the system works in Mourino. Like, that's his favorite system, the way Mourino plays. He's got this 2 defensive midfielder, 1 offensive creator, and if Ali can reestablish himself, that's the role for him. I mean, he'll be given a very important role in Mourinho's tactics.
Well, he's definitely, they gave him the chance. So what do you think about the game on, was it Saturday? Yeah, Saturday. It was like the first game.
I just want to mention one thing before we go to the game, because I listened to his first press conference.
Well, just talk about is this a pre-game press conference?
Pre-game. Here's the thing about Mourino. Why I think we got a better Mourino than you got it. We are getting better Mourino than you had. Here's why. Because and you're right. Because I'll remember one thing. When he was fired...
Can I tell you something? You teased me when we got him. Yes. So that's how much you didn't believe in him.
No, I teased you because I know you didn't want him. That's why I teased you.
Yeah, but you knew it wasn't right. I kind of believed in him. You knew it wasn't right. You have to believe in him now because he's your coach and he does have titles and it does make more sense with this squad for him to be there.
Here's why. I'll tell you that. So, there are different phases of Mourino. First, when he was a young manager at Porto, he wins Champions League. He goes to Chelsea, he wins titles. Then he goes to Inter, he wins titles. He's at the top of the world, and he's got this cockiness about him, but it's winning cockiness. Like he puts money where his mouth is. Then he goes to Real Madrid, starts well, but then Guardiola kind of outperforms him, and then he starts getting a little bit bitter. Goes to Chelsea, wins right away. He's back at the top.
Then loses the squad.
But then loses the squad and then gets fired. So he came to United with a huge scar. Like he was not in the right frame of mind. Like his body language was bad.
He got fired from us, so he's coming to you.
Yeah, but here's what happened. And this is what I'm trying to say.
He's coming to you guys in the same scenario.
No. And I'll tell you why not. I think the fact that he didn't get the job after being fired from United made him reflect on things and his behavior. I remember him being at UCLA as the United coach. I went to his press conference. I came 7 minutes late and he already left. And I'm asking a British journalist, what happened? And he's like, just answered 2 questions, walked away. walked away like he already came with a negative mindset, and he left. He just stormed out of the room. So he was really a prick, when he was at United. He was really a prick. Nobody liked him. He had bad energy about him. And I think the fact that he got fired from United, he got fired for the second time, he had to do some homework, because the Mourino I saw in the press conference before, and the way he talked to media after, and the way he reacts, and the way he speaks about everything, he seems like a nicer guy. He seems like more at peace with himself. There are some moments where
I think this is what you're not seeing. You're talking about the 3 stages of Mourinho. There's really just 2. There's pleasant winning Mourinho, and there's unpleasant losing Mourinho. He hates to lose. So it's like, it's not the 3 stages. It's when he's winning, he's happy. He's great in press conferences, and when he knows he's going to win and he's confident in the team, then he's happy. Now, when he's at a team when Man U, we were not a complete team, when we still aren't, and knowing that throws him, and especially when he's going to be losing in the same league that Pep is in. That's the thing. That's the difference. I think he could definitely be more introspective right now, and that might help him, because I do feel there is some of that. Like, I could see it when I watched him on Sky with the panel, and that he was definitely auditioned to get a job. But I even heard an interview where he said, like, he went inward and thought about a lot of things and how to deal with situations different. He said he wouldn't make the same mistakes, but he'll make new mistakes, and he has to endear himself back. Like, he as a winner, he knows he has to do that. But listen, even Pep is a terrible loser. I remember his first season.
Like right now, he's in a Mourinho phase. So
no, he's not.
A little bit.
No, he's not. He's doing fine. Like, they just have to play out the season. That's the way they played out the season last year.
Yeah, but the way he acts and talks and addresses media, and he does like crazy gestures, he reminds me a little bit of Mourinho, the late Chelsea.
I don't know if I've seen that this year, I remember the first year, it was a Pep I've never seen before. His first year at Man City, he didn't win anything. He was like, he couldn't even figure out, like, how the fuck did we just lose that? And I was like, your defense. That's how you just lost that.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, like, the difference is, for me,
lack of defense.
Where the difference with Mourinho from Man U and late Chelsea now, it's I think he's more humbled. And he can even take a joke.
You're welcome for that.
Yeah, for sure. He can even take a joke, because they asked him in the conference before the game, and they asked him, that when he was a Chelsea manager, he said that he would never coach another team from London ever. And why did he change his mind? And he said, that was before they sacked me, So that's funny, like, he never had those moments in United. He would be always like, 3, that's the number of trophies I won. 3, like,
2 Mourinhos.
He was yelling at
losing
people.
Mourinho and winning Mourinho.
Yeah, but I think he changed his way a little bit. I don't.
You hope.
I hope. Yeah, I hope.
Yeah.
And I
hope,
so far.
I hope too. I want to see people evolve. Mm-hmm. So let's see what happens. What did you think of the game?
Listen, one thing you can never, even in the worst moments of Mourinho, you can never deny he's a master tactician. So he definitely changed things around very quickly, and we played as a team completely different. But is a part of that because players have a new coach? Yeah, because one simple
like
thing.
How long does that last?
No, it's not even that. It's not even about the quality of play, but I'm saying tactically we're playing different, because before with Pochettino it's always the same. Play the ball from the back, pass, and you try to pass, and you try to go through the middle, gain some ground, and another pass. With Mourinho, we often play long balls. We never play long balls with Pochettino. We never play long balls.
Did you play long balls?
Yes, we mix it up. That's what I'm saying.
I watched that game.
The first goal came from a long ball,
mm-hmm.
and we just played.
No, Man City would shove those long balls back down your throat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We were very predictable with Pochettino because it was always the same concept. Now Mourinho, he wants to play through the wings a little bit more because he has got two defensive midfielders, so he can play through the wings a little bit more. We'll just attack in variety of ways, which I think will fit Dele Alli's game better. Harry Kane will get more passes. Like, people were blaming Harry Kane for not scoring, but in a lot of those games, he just didn't get a pass. He's not a striker who's going to create for himself. He's not the type of a player. You have to put the ball on his nose, and he will score.
Doesn't he have a decent amount of assists, Harry Kane?
Yeah. He can play back to the goal, but he's not gonna create for himself. That's what I'm trying. There are some strikers that can, take the ball in the middle and just dribble past 4 defenders. He's not that type.
Right.
He needs wings. He needs guys to create opportunities for him. He's a finisher. He's not Messi. He's a classic center forward.
Let me tell you what I thought about that game. It was like a renewed energy. And I don't know if it's just for that one game. They have to keep it up. They seriously, they pressed, and Dele Alli definitely was auditioning his ass off. Like, he went home, learned his lines, and like, I've never seen him play that defensive, or like trying to win balls back too. And then he had 1 assist for sure on the first Sun goal, but I think he should be given the assist for, was it the second goal, when on the fast break he fell on the sidelines, and then kept it in with his feet and flipped it to Son while he's on the ground. Like, you haven't seen that type of, that's a different type of Dele Alli, if he can bring that all the time. But
Mourino screaming from the sidelines, "This is you, Dele. This is you."
Well, we'll see if it's him. We don't know. We got a whole season and career to go. But I don't trust players who like take time off in their career. I trust the ones who are always consistent, no matter how the team are doing. Like I told you, I always felt like Hazard was overvalued. And then last week, who said that? Was it Mikel? Or who said the thing about Hazard, like he's lazy in practice? And I would see, like, in games, like Hazard would reappear and disappear. But I have this debate with other Chelsea people who think Hazard is all gold. But some player came out last week that used to play with him at Chelsea. He said Hazard would sometimes be on the sidelines just chilling during practice. Like he was the laziest player he ever played with. That's what the guy said. So maybe. Let's see which Dele Alli. Like I'm like that with comedy sometimes. Sometimes I'm writing all the time, and sometimes I'm not. But if I was writing all the time, man,
but
I'd be a beast, right, Aaron?
Yeah, but I'll tell you this, like people like to jump to conclusions about young players, and sometimes if you pick very very quickly, and he was 19, he was already starting for England at the World Cup, and you get a bigger contract, and people talk about you. There is a danger that you
didn't happen to Frank Lampard. Didn't happen to Messi.
Oh, I mean,
doesn't happen to Ronaldo.
It didn't happen to Messi. It didn't happen to Ronaldo. Frank Lampard kind of was a late bloomer anyway.
How late? What, early 20s?
No, at West Ham he wasn't that great. Then he went to Chelsea. Mourinho brought the best out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was never like the
He was off the radar at West Ham.
Yeah, but Dele Alli was like, everybody was talking about him as the best player in the country. He won like the best young player in the country. He's the future. He's this. I was telling you that he's top 10 player in the world.
And I told you no. I remember. See, and I was right about that.
But there was one season when he was absolutely phenomenal. When we finished behind Leicester, yeah, he was phenomenal that season. Phenomenal.
I can tell you about a lot of players that had that one season. And you won't even remember their names. So you're happy with the way the week went.
Yeah, I'm happy that we divorced from Firmino. The wife got uglier and crazier, so we had to get the divorce and got a.
Do you have any words to say to Pochettino? Like, say he's watching this podcast.
Yeah, please go to United.
We'll take him, because you were wrong about Mourino coming there, so you'll be wrong about him coming.
He's got only one game plan for him. That's it.
Maybe he'll become introspective and figure some shit out. Like, we got a coach now that's being accused of having one game plan. So what do we have to lose?
Does he have a game plan? At least one.
There you go. So you'll send in a better coach. You're wishing a better coach on us.
No, definitely a better coach. Definitely.
Right.
Pochettino is definitely an upgrade over this coach, for sure.
Like, it's funny. It's like, so one more thing about the Spurs game. So this was weird. So after the game, Son and Dele Alli went to give their shirts to members of the Spurs fans. And then Mourinho was like waiting for them because he shook hands with everybody. And it just, on their way back, they almost felt like they weren't even going to give him the pound and the hug on the way off the field. Like, and he seemed unsure, like on the field himself after the game, like approaching them, and he also like half-assed approached the Spurs fans and was like he wasn't sure. So what's going on there?
I think he's just. Everything is new for him, and I think he's still figuring things out.
Mm-hmm.
That all happened very, very, very quickly.
Yeah.
That all happened very quickly, although we both understand that the process was probably longer and they talked for weeks before he took the job because it happened right away.
But with the players, it happened quickly.
Yeah, it happened very quickly. So he doesn't know most of those players. Who does he know? Probably pretty much nobody.
Yeah.
On that.
I've just never seen a coach be that apprehensive of his own players, and that's not going to help you if you got to win games for the whole season.
There are clear two players that were out of favor with Pochettino that he brought back to the lineup, and I know because he was always a fan of both of them. He tried to buy them both to United, as a matter of fact.
Wilder?
No, Dyer and Lucas Moura.
Yeah,
Lucas Moura, who
I would have taken.
I don't know why he didn't play most of those games this season because he was always good.
I don't know why he didn't play more. Just period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it looks like he fits the system. He fits exactly what Mourino wants.
Yeah. So he put Moura wide, Son on the left, and Kane in the middle, Dele Alli behind them, backing it up. Yeah. And Dele Alli has to work harder in the midfield, just period.
Yeah. And Ben Davies and Aurier, which I was surprised, but
But who else do you have?
Aurier delivered actually great ball.
Yeah, he did to Kane.
Yeah.
But who else do you have back there? You used to have the best backs.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't play Aurier and Ben Davies,
Danny Rose said that he's not gonna. He doesn't want to be there. I mean, he said it last week. So
he did.
Yeah, he said that he's gonna wait till the end of the contract and leave for free. That's what he said. That was terrible. And people would boo at him if he shows up.
Damn.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Shit.
In his own words.
He said it after Pochettino got fired or before?
Before.
That means something. Do you believe the somebody sleeping with somebody's wife rumor? Why would it be that bad?
I mean, first of all, Danny Rose had depression issues. Did he talk about?
Because he played for Spurs.
I think he's been there for too long.
You have depression issues. You're a first Spurs fan.
That's true. I think.
You ever thought the two of them were linked?
I don't think he's that. I don't think he's a solution. I think he's late all the time on the left side, and that's why you conceded so many goals. Personally, I think he should go. Yeah.
Right. So, I'm saying, who else was Mourino going to play Sunday besides
Walker Peters?
Yeah, he kind of was starting to gain some ground, and then they made him. He's gone now. Is he injured or some shit?
He was injured, but he wasn't just producing anything.
He wasn't?
Not really, no.
I don't know. He was learning, and he was getting better.
He's learning for 3 years now, and that's it.
Not sporadically,
Yeah.
It's not enough to
I mean, he was always solid, but he didn't have that one quality. Aurier has a lot of problems.
Yeah, he's dangerous.
But he can give you that ball, that would make a difference. So he's like a wild card.
Right.
But with the wild card, you can get an advantage in moments where he can produce or disadvantage.
Yeah, but mostly he's been positive. Yeah.
What is one thing that he does exceptionally well? Nothing really. He's not super fast. He doesn't make many mistakes, but he doesn't really deliver balls. He doesn't go past people. He's he does the work on a solid level, and I don't think it's good enough for if you want to be a title winner. As Mourino says, the next year he wants to win a title with Tottenham. Hopefully he will.
All right,
he won titles before.
I think you can win something next year. I don't know.
I think we'll win this year, FA Cup. I think we will. He will laser focus on.
He's gonna try. He's gonna win the thing that he could win. Yeah, he's gonna. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
I think he will really, because Pochettino was really playing.
And then if you win the FA Cup, how will you feel?
Great.
So that's the same cup. You just said, Van Gaal just won it.
Yeah, but Mourino won more. Mourino won more. He won FA Cup and UEFA Cup.
Van Gaal is still the FA. Listen, you're looking at this thing two ways based on who won it, who wins it. If you guys win it, you'll be elated.
But it's, like, listen, we haven't won trophies in a long time, so right now that's the priority. It will change.
Like if we look back, if we don't win trophies soon and we look back, we'll be like, at least we won the FA Cup in that year and the League Cup in that year and the Europa League and that, you know what I mean? It's like, you can't just be like dissing these cups until you win it. And then I'm not
dissing. I was making different type of a point that plus, United.
He won one more thing.
Two more things, because he wants a charity shield. He also won a charity shield.
You didn't? Are you counting the charity shield? I'm a
Man
United.
You've been counting charity shield.
No, I wasn't. No. And I remember, if I'm not mistaken, you were like, that don't count. Now it counts.
No, I mean, it counts in a way of showing his resume next to Van Gaal's. It doesn't count in terms of Man United's history, because obviously you won bigger things in the past with Ferguson. It's not even comparable. Yeah. But if you head-to-head compare Van Gaal to Mourinho, he's got a little bit more to his.
I'm not comparing them head-to-head. I'm just saying Van Gaal won some shit.
Plus Van Gaal that was it. That was his last gig. That's it. That was a wrap for him, Van Gaal.
Yeah, because he retired. He doesn't.
Yeah, that's it.
He can get a job if he wanted to right after.
Top job? No, he's no top club will hire him.
Maybe not a top club, but he can get a job, a decent job.
Yeah.
So you're done with Spurs, thank God.
No, I'm not done with Spurs. No.
I'm talking about them.
Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to the first crisis they have, how he handles that. I think Before in the past, he always had great starts with clubs. I think he won like 8 out of first 9 games with United.
So the first crisis could be a loss to Bournemouth next week.
No. The history says that Mourinho always performs very, very well in first couple of months, because he's this energizing. He's got this personality that he brings into the locker room, that he re-energizes everyone. Like at United, he won first 8 out of 9 with worse team, with less talent.
Yeah, for sure.
With less talent you had.
Yeah. All right.
Because this is a lot of talent that was underperforming for a year.
It's a lot of talent, yeah. And you restocked your shelves. So I expect a lot of good shit from Spurs.
And there's a rumor that he's going to bring this the center back from Benfica, who is starting for Portugal. I think, and knowing his history.
Alves?
No, his name is. He's 22 years old. I forgot his name, but he's the starting center back for Portugal and Benfica, and I think he's represented by Mendes, who is the best friends with Mourinho, and he always gives his players to Mourinho first. Like there was a moment
he has a first look deal with Mourinho.
Yeah. So
right, they do in Hollywood.
Yeah, he was accused in the past, Mourinho, about some shady business with Mendes.
Football is shady, so yeah.
So it looks like it will go through, in my opinion.
All right, so let's move on to Man City versus Chelsea. And Chelsea looked good in the beginning of the game. First half of the game was really good football. And but in the second half, after Man City took the lead, they kind of shut Chelsea down. And in an amazing way, like, especially in the last minutes of the game when Chelsea needed to score, they couldn't even get the ball out of their half. Like, I've never seen a team, like normally even the worst team against the best team, when they're down a goal or whatever, like are able to get the ball in the other team's half and make the other team like circle their wagons. Like the press of Man City was so precise without overcommitting that all Chelsea could do was waste minute after minute just passing the ball around the back. And then if they did get frustrated and kick it up, then Man City would trap it and take it right back at them or bring at them. So and this is Chelsea, like this is the lowest amount of possession that a Pep team has ever had with all the teams that he's coached.
Yeah. More passes, more possession for Chelsea. I like the way they play with Lampard. I think that they're really playing positive football, and they're one of the most attractive sides in the Premier League to watch.
Sexy ass football.
Yeah. Great for Lampard. Mourinho kind of was sticking it to him a little bit, when he was still at Sky.
Oh yeah. What did he say? What was he saying?
Little here and there, just putting pins in Lampard. I think it's jealousy because of he used to be at Chelsea and won trophies there. And that he's not ready there.
You think that guy's changed?
Yeah, I know. But he'll definitely try to win at Chelsea when we play at Chelsea. He'll definitely try to win.
Oh
yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I like Chelsea. I think Chelsea are going through that difficult moment when they cannot buy people with really a lot of positives, and once they are able to buy people, they'll be very dangerous.
Yeah,
very dangerous.
I think like at some point I knew Man City would win the game, even though their defense is kind of like a makeshift defense right now.
Oh, it's terrible.
But I had a feeling they would win because Chelsea's going to try to score, and when they try to score, they get caught on the counter, and that's when they lose games. If they don't make their chances, which they made a lot of, they lose. That's how we beat them, in the opening of the season. So, yeah, they got beat, but they put up a good fight. It's like a respectable loss, and especially against a top team. And the table is where it should be now, because I do think Man City is a better team, and they're ahead of Chelsea now in the table. This was a bigger match than it felt like leading into it. Like, I think the Mourino thing took over the media this week.
Yeah,
instead of everybody talking about Man City versus Chelsea, and Chelsea being ahead of Man City in the table. This was almost like a afterthought. By the way,
you reminded me one angle that we didn't talk about Mourinho. Yeah, that's why also Daniel Levy is happy with this hiring, and why they made sure that they secure Mourinho. It's his marketability. The sponsors love Mourinho. The sponsors love Mourinho. He's a big name. He's a big market name. So there will be additional sponsors coming in just because Mourinho is associated with the Spurs. Is
Levy going to spend that money on players?
Listen, I don't think Mourinho would go there without getting some promises,
But Levy's shrewd. He can lure you there, and
they spent this summer for 2 players a lot of money.
Yeah, they did. But
all he needs is 2 more, 1 center back, and probably the guy from Benfica, and maybe 1 more striker. That's it. What do they need? Oh no, they need the left back. Yeah. Because Davies is not good enough. Maybe a right back. Okay, so 4 players.
Levy spend money on 4 players. All right.
Mendes will cut the deal for the center back, so it's not that bad.
He's not going to cut his money to give a player. He's not.
But they're creative, like the Pogba deal Mina Raiola did, that they had to pay him like 35 million from a transfer fee.
Yeah,
So Mendes,
that's not creative. That's spending money. Who had to pay the money? Man, you had to pay the money to him?
Yeah, Man, you had to.
So then that means Spurs is going to have to pay money to,
Or it can go from the next transfer when somebody transfers to another team. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, we'll see.
But going back to City, I mean, here's how bad they were with Otamendi, and they were leaking goals. Now Otamendi is sitting on the bench. When they don't have another center back, he's still sitting on the bench. They play Fernandinho, who's not a center back, at center back. That's how bad Otamendi had to be.
Otamendi,
because you don't even have anybody to replace him, and he's still replaced.
But I mean, he's Latin Mangala. I mean, I've been telling you how bad Otamendi's been for years.
But that's really bad. If there's nobody to replace him, you're still being replaced.
Yeah, that's funny. That's hilarious. They're like Fernandinho, Gundogan is getting better.
Yeah,
he can play your position now. I don't think Gundogan even started that game.
No.
Who was in the Fernandinho position in the beginning of the game?
Silva was on the one side, De Bruyne. Let's figure it out.
I'm looking at this board. And I can't.
Mahrez and
that was a good Arjen Robben goal by Mahrez.
Yep.
Yeah.
He can do it.
He can do
lineups. Let's go down.
He still makes
lineups. Yeah.
Thanks, Aaron. Yeah. Well, go back up to the top one. Yeah, this one.
Silva, Rodri.
Yeah.
He
I mean, that's what they bought him for. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Stones and Fernandinho. Mendy played because Bernardo Silva got suspended for that game for his tweet.
Right, against Mendy. and then they put Mendy in. so Bernardo Silva puts in a tweet that looks like, makes him look. But they're not the same position.
They actually are.
Well, Bernardo Silva.
Oh, no, but they're both on the left side. So, they're not the same position.
Where the hell is
Kyle Walker?
Yeah.
He was on the bench.
He's having a great season. Why is he on the bench?
I
guess they got to work this guy in.
Yeah,
is that the Juventus guy?
Yeah, that's the Juventus guy.
All right.
That's the same position. They both cancel for the same position.
Yeah.
He's apparently an upgrade, which I agree. Technically, he is. He's an upgrade.
I don't know. Kyle Walker's having a good season, man. This guy hasn't proven to me that he's better than Kyle Walker yet. Kyle Walker is motivated.
Yep.
Kyle Walker's motivated. Next game we're going to move to is, we should move to this game, Manchester United versus Sheffield United. Normally, anything Man United is big, so we got to talk about that. And now that Pochettino is available, before we talk about the game, now that Pochettino is available, there's things like, if you're Man United, Pochettino's available. You wanted him before he was available.
Yeah.
And now there's other sharks in the water swimming around the body of Pochettino. And you're like, we committed to Solskjaer. Like, sometimes shit changes. Like, you're at your wedding, you say I do, and you turn around and you see the woman of your dreams. And you have a
dreams.
And you have a connection.
Then your dreams are not high enough. She's the woman.
Well, here's the dream. The dream is, we're in a rebuilding phase, and we need the best rebuilder. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And Pochettino has proven himself to be an amazing rebuilder. He is. Look what he turned you guys. He turned you guys into a team that was sexy enough that Mourino wanted to go there. He would have never went to Spurs.
I agree.
Before Pochettino.
But also, he would never go to Spurs if he succeeded in the last two jobs to the point where he wanted to succeed. He succeeded.
He did.
Partially.
He was at Southampton, and they were like.
No, I'm talking about Mourino. Mourino wasn't in that point of his career that he didn't really have other options. Then.
But I think a lot of top coaches around the world would have went to Spurs.
Although I'll tell you this, and it's a rumor.
When they fired him, you had great candidates.
Yeah.
I'll
tell you something. I'll actually to support your theory about the Spurs and being attractive to Mourino. I'll tell you what I heard, and from a very good source, because this guy who runs this football transfer podcast is usually very well informed. He said that in Madrid they're furious. In Real Madrid, Florentino Perez is furious that he feels betrayed because they had a deal with Mourino to take over Real Madrid within a week or two.
Oh, yeah?
And they were all ready for Mourino, and then he, without even telling them, took a Spurs job instead of Madrid job. That's huge. That's huge. I
mean, I think if Perez is pissed, he's also lucky. He'll get over that. Listen, man, despite what I feel about Spurs, this is the perfect match. And I know there's some Spurs. What do you think about the Spurs fans that don't want Mourino there?
I think it changed a lot after he made this, because first impression is good. They were afraid that the last impression of Mourino was him being this grumpy, negative guy, and then he came all smiles to the press conference, and he won his first game, and he was chest pumping and doing all those, the Dele Alli things, listen, if he makes Dele Alli play like old Dele Alli, and Harry Kane scored 2 goals every game and so on, being brilliant, everybody will love it. If he wins first trophy, he will be the king.
Yeah, and then he wins the first trophy, and then after that,
I'll take it. Listen, at this point,
you guys are users. You just want a trophy, and you're like, bye, Mourino.
Yeah, if he wins the Premier League next season, oh my God, that would be amazing. Then he can do whatever.
That's possible, because by then, Liverpool, if Liverpool wins a Premiership, their thirst for winning it might be down compared to it. Just might be not down completely, but just enough for a Mourinho coach Spurs.
Yeah, but they buy so well, and they I'm afraid there might be a dynasty for a while.
Aren't you guys going to buy well?
Yeah, but the system, they're ahead of us. They're ahead of us.
They're ahead of everybody. Every dynasty gets caught, and sometimes it's when you think something's gonna, like, look at Golden State. Everybody thought this thing was gonna last for 10 years. It lasted
for 5 years.
Yeah, but everybody thought it was gonna last even more, and now it's all of a sudden. Yeah. So it's like, and they're in a new stadium.
Like if somebody told
just like Spurs,
2012 that United won't win another title, right? You wouldn't believe that until 2019.
What, league title? What, the Premiership title?
Yeah, you wouldn't believe that, right?
Yeah, I could believe that.
Really?
Yeah, like based on what's going on. Because let me talk about Man U. This is where we're at. So we tied with Sheffield United 3-3, right? Mm-hmm. In the beginning of the game, we looked shitty.
Well, for 70 minutes, you looked shitty.
Yeah, for 70 minutes, we looked shitty, right? But, the games are 90 minutes plus.
Yeah.
And Sheffield United kind of like, oh, we're done with this meal. Let's just play with it on the plate. And the meal came back to life and came back to bite them. And people are talking about the shitty formation that we came out in to start the game. With what's his name?
Fred?
Not Fred, but with like that. What's his name?
Pereira?
No, Maguire. The Jones.
Oh, Jones. Oh my
Phil
God.
Jones.
I feel bad for him. He was like being destroyed.
Well, first of all, that was a foul. He was fouled. Like, you can't go through. Did you see the game?
Yeah.
You saw that goal.
Yeah.
Do you think he was fouled?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, let me ask you
another question. He's a big guy, that's why I think.
Well, let me ask you another question.
He's a bigger guy than the guy.
Let me rephrase that question. So you don't know. You don't know, right? That's your answer.
Because if Phil Jones was a tiny little guy, maybe, but he's a big guy, man. You just don't let that happen to you. You have to give yourself a chance. He didn't have to go down. He's a big guy.
Fine. You don't think that was a foul. Now let me rephrase the question. If Phil Jones was a forward in the penalty box, and a defender did that to him, would that have been a penalty?
Probably.
Yes. So then it was a fucking foul.
Probably.
So first of all, Phil Jones should have cleared it.
Yeah.
Like, when in doubt, out. I don't know why he turned inward. Mm-hmm. But there definitely was a foul. But fine. They got that shit off and they scored. But I think my main point is Solskjaer, it was like the way this game was going, Solskjaer was definitely going to lose his job to Pochettino. And I think him tinkering with the team and trying to seem strategic backfired, and then he just went back to his, maybe that's what you have to do, like change to a bad formation so that when you readjust to your regular formation, it looks like you're a strategic genius. So he like Solskjaer has one strategy, but if he doesn't do that strategy at first and just does some other strategy and then goes back to that other strategy, it looks like he did something.
I don't even think he did. I think this is what, in my opinion, happened. So in my opinion, Sheffield United played a perfect game. Then they lost their center forward due to injury. And the center forward was able to stretch Man U defense a little bit. Once they were without him, they just went back and they weren't stretching Man United player, but
then they put in another center forward.
Yeah, but he didn't do the job.
Good.
So first goal kind of accidental, and
foul.
No, first goal for United.
No, it's not accidental. How is it accidental?
They should have cleared the ball, I think.
But that's football.
Yeah, I know. But
how is
it
an accident?
A
19-year-old kid put the ball, his foot through the ball with his weak foot perfectly.
No, great goal.
Arrow to the bottom, low in the net.
But they should have cleared it. But anyway.
But that's not an accident. Accident is like the ball hits off.
Yeah,
people.
it's the wrong word. Maybe I would say avoidable. Avoidable.
But the goals Sheffield scored against us any goal is avoidable.
Yeah.
If some people don't switch off.
But there were several other great occasions United had, and Sheffield United and De Gea saved you. So it could.
That's his job.
Yeah, but what I'm saying that it was like against the run of play, the first goal for United, and then the game completely shifted. Here's my theory. I think when you have a lot of young players on the team,
that's my point.
They just go for it. When they see a chance, they just go for it.
Talking
and
about
they
Sheffield?
have United.
Right.
Like all those scores, 18, 19, 22.
I know. I know.
And it shows something. If you let the season go like it's going, at least play all those young guys. Why would you play those?
I said that earlier.
They just proved the point.
But you can't start them like, listen.
Why not?
Because Mason Greenwood, I've seen him like
Fred
play
and Pereira in the middle, for
periods.
example. But what did they do the whole game?
Listen, I'm not mad at Pereira as much as
really?
he's fine. Like
he really had a bad game, man.
It wasn't as bad as people say. I disagree. Also, this is another thing people are saying that I want to address. People are like, we're Man United. We shouldn't be losing to Sheffield or only tying with Sheffield. Now, when people say we're Man United, that's like living in the past. It's like if every time you talk about Spurs now, I keep shitting on you about Spurs 5-6 years ago, then I'm not being realistic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I have to deal with, when I talk about Man City, I can't talk about Man City 8 years ago. I have to talk about Man City now. And if you talk about Man United, you have to talk about them now. And you look at this team and people are like, we're Man United, we should be doing better than this. No. If you look at our starting lineup for this game, we had a 19-year-old at left back.
Yeah.
We have a 22-year-old forward who's or winger / he switches as another guy. Pereira has not played a full season in the Premiership. Fred hasn't played 30 games in the Premiership, right? Then you have Wan-Bissaka. He's probably in his third full season, maybe his second. And then we sub out young people with younger people. Like we bring in an 18-year-old for, who did we bring in Greenwood for? We take out Pereira, who's only been in the league officially for less than 30 games. Like to put in an 18-year-old.
I don't think it deserves a starting lineup.
But we don't have anybody else. Fred is starting, bro.
Greenwood. Give him more playing time.
He'll get it. I thought after one game at the end of last season that Greenwood was the truth, but he needs to grow. I'd rather see some Chung. I don't know why Chung is not there, but and everybody, the way people talk about Angel Gomez, I don't know why he's not in it more too. But the people who keep saying we're Man United, we should be doing better than this, are ignoring completely how inexperienced our entire squad is. Like when we take somebody off that we're starting out, even if you take Fred out, who's hasn't played or started maybe even 20 games in the Premiership, you're taking out him to play somebody who's old or has less experience than him. So we're doing exactly what a team of that age with that much inexperience should do. Well, actually, Ollie might not actually be doing that bad of a job. What we did do a bad job of was getting some experienced players in the transfer window, and then we have to do that this transfer window. So Man United is exactly where they should be, and they're having trouble with teams they should have trouble with based on their personnel. So,
but let me ask you this, though. Yeah, I agree with you. But let me ask you this: are you disappointed at least a little bit?
No.
With Maguire.
With Maguire? Yeah. But I never wanted him. I never wanted him. Yeah. Like he played good in the World Cup, so that gave me some hope. So I can't lie. But I didn't want him at that price. Yeah. I felt like they overpaid for him. Yeah. And it's like I think we have to do more research. Like Maguire was replaced by a Turkish guy I never heard of.
Yeah, that's what I was making
Leicester.
A point. Yeah, and Leicester doing fine.
How much did Leicester pay for this Turkish replacement? And Leicester's
probably like £1 million or something.
Yeah. So it's like, why are we like just looking at like these names? Like when I look at Newcastle and I see Saint Maxim and the shit that he's doing there, that's the type of player like Liverpool would have bought 2-something years ago from Newcastle. You know what I mean? And put on their team and then build up their team. And it's like, we don't have a player like that could help us like that. And it's like, how did Newcastle find this motherfucker? You know what I mean? So, but we're building. And I think we have to accept that we're building. Now, I want to be loyal to Solskjaer, but I was saying the thing about you're at the wedding, you just say I do, you turn around and you see the woman you should have married. And sometimes if that woman is not at that wedding, then you're happily married, right? But if she is, and you see her and your soul tells you like shit, and this is a scenario with Pochettino for us. I'm like loyal until you just see a better builder.
I have 2 points that kind of are conflicting with each other, but I'll just shoot them. First, I think if Ole wasn't such a nice guy and beloved, he would be fired a while ago.
He almost got fired if we lost that game to Sheffield. And they still might be working.
I think it's just, difficult because he's such a likable guy. It's like difficult to fire someone who is like liked by so many people and in general. And he's like kind of Man U legend, So I think it's an awkward situation. But my second point kind of contradicts with it. Well, in my opinion, it's Ed Woodward is responsible for the demise of the club, and maybe having someone like Ole, a scapegoat, someone who takes the blame every week for his failures. Because I listened to the studio at Sky Sports, and they were mentioning that Fred was bought by Mourino, that someone else, Sanchez by Mourino, and then someone said, but was he?
Mourinho
was really Mourino the one who bought him, or was Woodward the one who bought those people? And the way I look at their transfer strategy, they had 3 managers now, and the strategy is kind of the same. So it doesn't look like those are like managers' choices. It looks like it's the Woodward guy who's making all those decisions.
He denies it. He denies it.
Oh.
And Mourinho was like, Fred was a buy. Mourinho tries to wash his hands off Fred. He's like,
he does.
He's like, he was a desperation buy because we didn't buy soon enough.
Yeah.
So then we had to get somebody, and it was like, that Fred guy from that league, he might be good. And nah.
No, of course not. No, but I think it's Woodward. He's the source of a problem. So I think having Ole might actually work at his favor because people don't talk about him often enough. They point Ole's failures.
It's Woodward or whoever Woodward hired to find players. I don't think Ed Woodward is out there looking at players, but whoever he has in charge of doing this shit,
they make a bad job.
It's a bad job.
Really bad job.
Yeah, and which I said is like, I was like, in the transfer window, we should do whatever we need to do to get Bruno Fernandes. Just period. Like Pogba's out. Like getting Bruno Fernandes will ensure that we stay in the top 10 and we score more goals, because we need a player like that. So if Marshall goes out again, or we just have nobody come out the bench to bring in Lingard.
I don't think Fernandes. I think Fernandes will go to the Spurs because of Mendes thing, and it's just a deal, he has with Mourino. So if he goes to England, I think he goes to the Spurs. I think you'll get Eriksen. I really do. Right now,
we'll take Eriksen.
Yeah, there's a chance he will turn up as Alexis Sanchez.
Does Pochettino and Eriksen get along?
That's interesting,
Because then
they might not.
Because
they might not.
Yeah. So then that's a problem. Then we can only get one of those. I
don't think you should hire Pochettino. I think you should hire Allegri, who is a more proven winner, and if you have a chance, I think that should be the guy to go with.
All right.
I don't think Pochettino tactically got exposed last year. I don't think he's got another gear in him,
Right. Yeah. I mean, I only want him for one thing, and that's to build. I don't expect to win. I want to, you know what I mean?
Then he's your guy.
Then he's your guy. But that's what I want him for. Other people want who they want for whatever reason they want. I look at that squad, and I just named like our flaws, and I see, to me, the yearning deficiency is a better squad. And once we get a better squad, then we could figure it out from there. Mm-hmm. Like who should be running the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would say I'm looking at Woodward's record of buys, and there's a pattern. He had like 3-4 managers so far, and the pattern is the same. So it kind of shows that who makes decisions.
Yeah, whoever's like getting our players, get rid of that guy.
Yeah. Overpriced. Yeah. You buy like if if whoever buys players for you was working at Wall Street, he would be fired a million times.
If he was in front of a hedge fund, he'd be out.
Because you're buying like at the most expensive.
You're buying high and selling low. yeah. It's fucking up the market.
Yeah, and whoever runs Leicester does the opposite. Selling Maguire and replacing him for someone 50 times cheaper. Yeah. That's a good deal. Who's doing actually a better job overall.
Yeah, because Leicester is, let's see where they're at. Let me go to this table. Leicester is,
I think, second or third.
Second.
Yeah.
And they have more points at this point in the season than they had when they won the league. Yeah. They are 8 points behind Liverpool. And I knew they would get into the top 6, but I know they would be like I said
this. Top 4, and Tony, when we did the podcast with the Arsenal guy, Tony, he laughed at me like, what are you talking about? It's Leicester top 4. But I'm like, I'm saying that because other teams are underperforming. Why not?
I mean, top 4 is definitely possible because after Liverpool, everybody else was suspect. But I think Chelsea will eventually get ahead of them, maybe. And and Spurs, if Mourino, so then because if you want things to play out the way you want it to play out, and I feel like Chelsea does have a better team and more depth. So with the rest of the season going on, they should get in front of them. But it's pretty.
But Chelsea so far had a very easy schedule. I mean, the only big games they lost all of them.
Yeah.
So. They lost all of the big games. So if we beat them in a direct game twice, then it's only 26 and 17, 9 points. Then it's only 3 points. If we get 6 points on them, so it's doable. Plus it's a young team. Young team goes through motions.
Yeah. And speaking of Leicester, they beat. Let me see who they beat. They beat Everton, and I don't even want to talk about the win.
No, Everton, sure. I think Everton lost to Norwich.
No. They beat Brighton Hove.
Yep.
They're playing Everton next week.
Good team.
But they beat them.
Yep.
And so they beat them. But let me just go to Everton because this is linked to Man U. And I was trying to say this. They got these sharks swimming in the water around the body of Pochettino.
Yeah.
Pellegrini's fucking up. West Ham, they get beat by you guys terribly.
Yeah.
And they've been terrible for a while.
Since they lost their Polish goalkeeper who was saving them before.
Right. Fabianski.
Yeah.
And they put so much money. West Ham spent a lot of money. Everton spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so these teams that have potential are right there, and these coaches are doing bad, and Man U is they have to make a choice to risk losing the chance to get Pochettino, so that because he might go to these teams.
No, I think Everton. There is a rumor today that they want to bring David Moyes back.
You're lying, bro.
No, I saw it on internet. Yeah. I mean, he worked out for them.
You got to be able to differentiate between jokes and what's real.
Why not? He produced. When he left, everybody was saying, at Everton was regretting the fact that he's leaving.
Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you how crazy that is.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't want Ferguson back now at Man U. It's over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if Everton is looking at Moyes, who never won anything, and Manchester United wouldn't want Ferguson back, then the mentality of the organization
desperation
is.
I mean, they're in the relegation battle.
But if you're desperate, you better call Pochettino.
They lost to Norwich at home. It's like the worst team in the league, pretty much.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah. No, Pochettino wouldn't go to Everton. I think Pochettino will wait for Real Madrid job or Man U job.
All right.
I don't think he'll go to Everton.
And he's not going to go to Arsenal because that was another rumor.
Nah.
And Arsenal tied with who did Arsenal tie with? Let's go to
Southampton, and then they shouldn't because Southampton was leading 2-1 and they had clear chances to score the third goal. I watched that game,
right.
And then it came out of nowhere in the 95th minute or something. Yeah,
right. So
they booed him. They booed Emery.
How long do you think Emery's gonna last?
2 weeks max.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Even if they win the next 2 games?
I think they tried to hire Allegri already, and he just said no to them.
Right.
And they tried to approach Mourino, but Mourino was set on Spurs.
So here's a rumor I heard from England that Arsenal is looking at the Wolves coach.
Okay. Yeah.
And so that might happen.
Okay.
So
good for Arsenal. He's not a bad coach. He's definitely better than Emery.
But if you go there, you're still going to have the problems that Wenger had and Emery has. No defensive midfielder, no CDM, central defensive midfielder.
They had one, but he's in conflict with their own fans.
He's not a central defensive midfielder. He's no good. And then you put in Torreira, right? And I was talking to my boy Lloyd. Torreira is like, if he tackles you, he'll fall to the ground. Like you can't have a CDM. And there's other tiny people in the league. Like Conte's not big.
But he's strong.
And that's the thing. Torreira is not Premiership strong.
No.
Like David Silva is not big. He doesn't play CDM. But my point is, he doesn't bounce off people and hit the ground more than the ball.
Yeah, Roy Keane wasn't that tall.
Right.
He was the strongest guy in the league.
So it's like Indeed, he ain't that big. Like there's so many. Sergio Aguero ain't that big, but these guys stay up. This guy is like
Makelele.
Yeah. Like so, Torreira is just like he don't got it. He does not have the intestinal fortitude to withstand a player just running by him. And he's your CDM. That's a huge. And then Xhaka takes off, and then we haven't seen him since he walked down the tunnel.
Yeah.
So, like, they have to fix this. But the problem with Arsenal, they keep buying offensive players, and but I don't blame them, because when they buy defensive players, they buy the wrong ones.
Socrates, yeah.
Yeah. So if the Wolves coach goes there, he's got to fix that. And Wolves is 5th, by the way. Like Wolves that started the season off so badly and took a long time to get their first win. They are fucking 5th.
Yeah, because they were in UEFA Cup, right? That's why, So they had to start preparation for the season early and kind of work their way through that different schedule. And that always happens. It happened to Burnley last year.
The time zone.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and I'm not surprised why both Mourino and Allegri didn't want to get into that mess. There's not too much, not much to work with for a name, for a manager with a name at Arsenal. When he looks at Arsenal team, he's like,
I mean, it might be a good time to go there because the transfer window's coming up, right? So if you're like,
when do they spend? They never spend really.
But if you're like, hey, you want me?
Yeah.
Here are.
But they need to buy so many players.
But just get two in central, one in central defense, and definitely
both
a central.
Two center defense.
You need two, but you're not going to get two.
And you need a left back too.
You have to make just precise 2 good changes. Like that's the least you should do. So if you're a coach, you're Pellegrini or somebody, say, I'll come to you if you're definitely going to buy this guy and this guy that will have an immediate impact on the results that are happening. Then I'll come now so that when January we could start turning this thing around, and then go into summer with the next window opening. Then we could get the other 2 that we need, and then backups for those people. So it's not that. They're not that far off. Attacking wise, I think
they are. As a whole, I think they are. They have strong forwards. That's about it.
Yeah,
Look at the other teams.
You just need to start applying the changes slowly. You know what I mean? And then sometimes a good defender, central defender, makes the other defender strong, and especially if you add a good central midfielder to that defense, that'll help their issues a lot. And if you can do that in the transfer window, that's huge. That's huge for this team, unless they get injuries to those players. But it's not that out of the realm, They're 8th, and they have 18 points, and to get to 5th, they're only 1 point behind Wolves, who's in 5th.
I think they didn't win in like 4 games now.
Something like that.
Yeah, 5 games. They didn't win any of the 5 games.
Yeah. They've had 2 losses and 3 draws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think this team has any identity.
No. And that's what they were saying about Man United in the Sheffield game.
It's the same.
There's no identity.
No.
But,
No clear system, no clear vision. It's pretty much the same. Although the one advantage United have over Arsenal, have better young players. Where Arsenal is a bunch of veterans that they need to get rid of. They need to get rid of Ozil, David Luiz. They need to get rid of Xhaka. They need to get rid of
Torreira.
And who else?
Socrates.
Definitely Socrates. Bellerin is not doing anything for years now.
He's been injured a lot. Now he's back. He's not. Yeah.
It's not playing well.
Right.
They're a mess. They're an absolute mess. And they didn't qualify to Champions League. Remember, the one thing was always true about Arsenal for like 20 years. They always somehow qualified for Champions League. Now it's 3 years in a row they didn't.
Right.
And it looks like this year they wouldn't. They won't neither. Right. So it will be 4 years in a row without Champions League. For a club of that big, that's huge. That's huge.
Oh, it's huge. I mean, yeah, it's huge. Liverpool kept on doing their thing.
Unbelievable. That's why they're going to win the title because,
It's only 8 points.
Yeah, but it's the same when remember when Chelsea won and Leicester. When you win those games, they somehow find a way to win them, even if they're not at their best, So that's
Salah
the quality.
Didn't even play.
Yeah, that's the quality that Champions has, to win those games even when you're not at your best.
They are determined.
Yeah,
they are determined. So
well-oiled machine.
Is that what?
It's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, for sure. And
although they're leaking goals, because I play fantasy leagues and I have Van Dijk on my team, and they always concede goals, and so he doesn't get maximum points.
I think Van Dijk is good, but he's overrated.
Yeah.
There's this, like I was watching the ESPN sports show, soccer show, and they were shitting on Sergio Ramos and saying how he's not like an all-time great defender. And I'm like, how could you say that about a guy who's won everything?
Yeah, one of the greatest ever.
So it was two defenders. It was Steve Nicol, and he was talking with a famous Dutch defender who thought that he was elite, but Nicol didn't. And I don't know what Nicol's point was. He was making it, and I was like, what are you talking about? Just the silverware,
Oh, and scores important goals.
Yeah.
The only thing that he struggled with in his career, and that's the only thing, and obviously he's one of the greatest ever, he got a lot of red cards throughout the career.
Hey, man.
Sometimes he's tempered. He's tempered. Sometimes he makes crazy things,
Still won with it.
Still won with it, yeah.
But these guys, I've heard this about Sergio Ramos before. They say, yeah, he's not that good, or he's good going forward. Just they say that shit about, and it's like, but Van Dijk, they just swear by.
Yeah.
And it's like, I like Van Dijk, but I'm not against him at all. But I also would want to give credits to your backs and Gomez and the other people who helped make that defense the defense that it is. And why is Klopp playing Lovren like that? Why is Lovren out there?
He's playing well.
Really? Gomez before his injury
and Matip.
And Matip. So yeah. That's why I don't understand.
I think he tries to rotate.
So a lot of rotating. That was
because Matip played, I think, a week before, or in the Champions League. I think they played Matip, actually.
I think Lovren played like 2 games in a row now.
Oh, maybe.
And he played in a big one that they just had, the one against City. And that was like, that's a big risk.
Yep.
That's a huge risk.
But listen, like experts, pundits, whoever does the data and stats, they say he's doing very well, and the only kind of a weaker point is Alexander-Arnold, although
that's another player.
Offensively, he's giving a lot.
But he's defensively, like, they say he's not that good defensively. To say that is crazy. He just won the Champions League. They got to the Champions League the year before. They came second. How could you say that?
Yeah,
it doesn't make no sense to me.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
No.
I don't agree. Like, what are they seeing that I'm not seeing? That he's not that good defensively.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. I don't get that.
He's not stopping people, but he doesn't have to. He's got a clear role on this team and in Klopp's system.
Yeah.
He's not he doesn't tackle a lot, but he does his job, I think.
He does his job, yeah. Whenever he has to do his job, he does his job. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would take him over Aurier. I'm sure you would take him over whoever plays on the right back at your place.
Yeah, that motherfucker is basically a midfielder who defends. He's a CDM wingback. A creative attacking. He's a CDM wingback. Creative midfielder / winger.
Hits free kicks, hits corners.
He plays 4 positions in one position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's only 20 years old.
Yeah. So I don't know what they talking about, bro. Let me see. There's one other. Chris, did you see that Villa game today?
No, I haven't. No.
Yeah, I watched it. And Jack Grealish, man.
Yeah.
Like, if you wanted to spend the day watching Silk play football, all you have to do is keep your eyes on Jack Grealish.
No, that's strong.
I mean, I believe in him anyway. He should be in the English squad. But today, he put on a show.
That's great.
That was like, I was like, oh, that's how you play football. Like, he just tied everything together, and he made it difficult for Newcastle, and he just had them on their back foot. It's like, and he'll get in a trap of like being surrounded by like 3 Newcastle players. He wouldn't panic, and he would just like find a way to get a pass to a teammate that was brilliant. And it's like, we don't have that on the English squad. And I'm a little frustrated with Southgate for not using him. Like, he's clearly better than Barkley or just anybody we have in that position on the squad. And I also like Cantwell from Norwich too. Like, he has the same kind of qualities that are similar to Jack Grealish. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully Southgate saw Grealish play today, but Villa won that game, and they needed to, and they move up the table a little bit. And let me just run through the table. All right, so Liverpool's first with 37 points. Leicester second with 29. Man City, sorry. I wish it was Manchester United. is third with 28. Freudian slip.
Freudian slip?
Fred slips a lot. Unfortunately. He's another guy. He's playing CDM and goes to ground. It's like your CDM cannot be going to ground. Yeah. So
almost like Fred Flintstone.
Yeah, Fred Flintstone's more reliable. He drove his car with his own feet. Never crashed. Chelsea's fourth with 26 points. Frank Lampard doing a great job over there, but he needs to not pat himself on the back to be an all-time great coach.
It was a good calendar.
Yeah.
It's a good schedule, So far 3 games against bigger teams, and he lost all three of them. So.
Right. But if you can get all the points from all the other teams, you're good. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Not if you lose twice to my Spurs. I mean, you might end up being 5th or 6th.
Who's going to catch him? Wolves? They're like 7 points behind.
No. It's only the Spurs, or at least, or maybe if someone comes to Man U and buys a lot in the winter, like Sancho, players like that, then maybe Man U can do it, But with current squad, only Spurs.
Do we need a Sancho?
Sure, he's great.
Yeah, but that's not what he'd be great, but that's not what we need. We need.
Yeah, but you can use him for sure.
Yeah, but it's not.
He's a
because then how are we gonna get the ball to him?
True.
So it's like
you need more than that. No, I agree.
Yeah,
but I would take him.
We don't need it in that position, but we need him. But we don't need that position right now. There's better ways to strengthen the team than Sancho right now.
Yeah, if Pogba comes back, that should help.
Yeah, but we still need somebody for Pogba to pass the ball to. Yeah. So that person can get the ball to the Sanchos or to the Marshalls to the
Eriksen maybe.
Yeah.
He might work, actually.
Yeah.
He might work.
Yeah. But if Pochettino's there and they're not getting along, it's only going to be one of them. It's one or the other. It can't. I have a feeling it can't be both. So I would take Eriksen.
I have a feeling that Pochettino will go to Real Madrid. I don't know why. I just have that feeling. Especially now with the rumor that Mourino was lined up to replace Zidane. That means they're replacing Zidane. So I just think because he's an Espanyol guy, he always had this rivalry with Barca. It seems like just in the general scheme of things, a very logical fit. And I think Allegri would be great for United, but I'm not sure if he was gonna go there because he's a winner. He wants to win titles.
Right. We've had terrible trouble hiring winners the last 2 times. You know what I'm saying? But we still.
I would hire the Sheffield guy.
Those 2 winners still won.
Hire the guy from Sheffield United. He's great. He's a great manager.
I'm watching that game.
Yeah.
And because you text me, I thought you were definitely texting me to tease me because we were losing. So that's why I was like, I don't want you to text me. But when you text me that game, so I'm like watching it before they even score, knowing that we probably lost. Because I just recorded the game. I was like, I need to sleep. And so when they were up 2, and then those fucking Sheffield fans were singing, there's only one United, there's only one United, like 2-0 up. I was like, you motherfuckers. And so when we scored the 3rd goal, like I was like singing that shit back to the TV. Like, you motherfuckers, you're right, there is only one United, and it's us. It's a bunch of kids. You can't beat a bunch of kids. But speaking of which, Wolves is 5th. Sheffield United is 6th. That's really good for a promoted team. 18 points. Burnley 7th, 18 points. Arsenal 8th, 18 points. Manchester United 9th, 17 points. Spurs 10th.
Getting better. Improvement. We just went like four places up.
Right? Yeah. It's. I mean, there's not a lot of room for growth. Bournemouth 11th, 16 points. Brighton Hove 12th, 15 points. Crystal Palace 13th,
and they're
15
sleeping.
points. They're what?
They're sleeping a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But they overshot. They were getting the points they need to stay up early. Newcastle 14th, 15 points. Good for them. They're higher in the table now at this point with Bruce than they were with the guy that they wanted to keep.
Yeah.
So,
and then somebody just tweeted, and we talk about on the way here, that everyone from coaching staff has a first name Steve on Newcastle.
Oh yeah. You should read.
And
that.
Did it hire another Steve?
You should read that.
I'll find it.
Yeah, find it. I'll keep going. Aston Villa won today. They're in 14th place. I mean, they're in 15th place, 14 points. Everton 16th place, 14 points. And I don't know, Marco Silva. It might be over. Pellegrini is right behind you, 17th place, 13 points. That's not good for all the money that they spent. Pellegrini was supposed to come in and organize that shit and put it together for them. It's not happening. Norwich is number 18th. They're in 18th place. They have 10 points. Good win this weekend. Southampton got a point from Arsenal, and they're in 19th. They have 9 points to match their 19th place. And Watford lost again in a game that they played good in. They just didn't put away their chances, and the 3-0 to Burnley doesn't really do how they play justice.
All right, so I found it. So this the tweet by Joe Donoghue. Newcastle United have a manager called Steve and an assistant manager called Steve, a first team coach called Steve, a head scout called Steve, and now also a goalkeeping coach called Steve. Steve Castle United.
Steve Castle United. You know what? You shouldn't have read it. It's not that great. You got anything to plug?
Yeah, I do actually. So thanks to you, I did interview Anthony Pulis, as the son of Tony Pulis, who is coaching
Did you tell
in
him
San Luis.
that I told you to look him up?
No,
thanks. Appreciate it. Good looking out for him.
So that it's in a new 442 magazine that it's about managers with I think Benitez. That's the main story.
When you
and he's another guy mentioned for Arsenal. That's a kind of funny story. I read it today.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
He'd take that job.
Benitez.
Benitez would take that job.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you called up Pulis, who did you get in? How did you contact him? What'd you say?
Through the club, and they just set him up. They made him call me, you know. So I talked after one of the training sessions, and he told me his entire philosophy and he sounded just like his dad.
Yeah, he does. I heard him
just like his dad.
Like I was watching the practice, and I could hear him, and he sounded just like his dad. It's crazy. And
very data oriented, just like his dad too. And he says that they talk every day about football, and he's like, we train even long throws after each practice.
Oh yeah.
His dad is known for being obsessed with set pieces, and his son obviously is very obsessed with set pieces himself. So they even have a couple of different options the way they do throw-ins.
Where's this team now in this league?
I think they barely miss the playoffs.
They're also, that team is dissolving because Chicago.
Oh yeah, they're going to MLS. Yeah.
I mean, St. Louis is getting an MLS team, so that team is going to dissolve. So I wonder where he's going to end up.
I think he wants to coach them in the MLS.
They're not going to the MLS. St. Louis is getting an MLS team. It has nothing to do with this.
Yeah,
team.
But I think he wants to coach the MLS team.
All right, maybe.
He says that he's open to staying, and that's what he said.
Yeah,
and
St. Louis is a great soccer football town. There's a lot of immigrants from Europe.
Yeah, and they just lost their American football team. So
right.
It's also a great baseball town.
Yeah. Did they win a title? Like
2011 is our last one.
Yeah, 2011. Yeah, I remember that because I had a friend of mine who was a journalist. I met him at Clippers games, and he was celebrating that. I just forgot what year it was, but I remember that.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to plug?
Yeah. I was on NCIS LA 2 weeks ago. You can find the episode. It's the 7th episode of this season. I was there as a main villain.
Congrats. I saw a clip of that you put on Instagram. I'm gonna try to see it. What about how I can see that?
It's on the website.
All right.
Yeah, it's on the website. So that is what else.
If you want to see Martin really be Martin, check out that episode of NCIS and see LL Cool J whoop his ass.
Yeah, exactly. What else? Oh, because I haven't been on podcasts since it premiered. I'm also one of the main characters in new Call of Duty. Modern Warfare.
Another evil character?
No, not really. A guy with a dark past, but technically he's on a positive side. He's one of the operators, so he can't be evil. But he's kind of a dark. Yeah, he's a dark German/Austrian guy named Kreuger, and it's from the messages I'm getting, it's one of the favorite characters in the game.
Cool.
So that's pretty cool.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah. And I did the film called Glass Darkly that will premiere next year. Glass Darkly. It's a World War II drama, and I also did a voice for new Seth Rogen film American Pickle.
For Glass Darkly, you said?
Yeah, Glass Darkly.
Is that where I saw that picture of you online in your regular clothes, dressed like a German soldier?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You just use your wardrobe.
No.
Don't worry, I got it. I bring.
Yeah, and then a couple more things are popping in.
That's good shit. You've been hustling.
Yes.
Aaron, what do you got? You want to plug anything?
No, I'm good.
This podcast counts so little that Aaron doesn't want to.
Yeah, I mean, you can follow Hilarious on Twitter.
All right,
that's fun.
All right, cool. And for me, what do I got? I'm gonna be at the Comedy Palace in Tommy T's. We're not doing that. Yeah, they kind of closed down. They're changing their venue into to something else, where they're gonna do not just comedy. So I'm not gonna be there on Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving. But the Comedy Palace, I'll be there on the 13th of December. 2 shows. That's what is that, a Friday? Yeah. And Houston Comedy Hub in Houston, January 3rd and 4th. And I got another show at the Rec Room. Let me just look this up unprofessionally. So the Rec Room, me and Eric Griffin are going to be doing the Rec Room. And I'll tell you what day in a second once this Instagram kicks in. So we're going to be doing the Rec Room on the December 21st. Me and Eric Griffin, 2 shows. I think that's a Saturday. So we're going to be doing the Rec Room then. December 21st at 7 p.m. So, boom. And follow me on Instagram and check out Roommates. And my website is ianedwardscomedian.com. My Instagram is at ianedwardscomic. And thanks for coming through.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brungard. Enjoy your week.
Now we share Mourino between us.
We don't. You have our sloppy fifths because he's been a lot of places before us. So enjoy.